I'd rather leave this earth knowing that I was doing what I loved to the fullest than to finish my life on my deathbed and be like, man, I wish I just did this. All right, what is up? It's your boy jonni.shreve. I have BB promos to tell like it is. Welcome back to a podcast, Uncut. Look, guys, before we get started, guys, make sure you like, subscribe. Well, just subscribe to my channel. Very often I do just come out and just give my heart, and I'm honest and open. And this is a part of me that I always want people to, see, in a sense of just being vulnerable and being honest. And, being at my level, I would say, I think it's important for us to be able to just be open and honest about our own mental health. And, when things like this happen. And I'm also going to talk about George Peterson. I'm not going to talk about him. I'm not going to talk about him like, he passed away. We all know that. And, it got me thinking a lot, because this is like another bodybuilder again. And, we can't say, oh, it was bodybuilding did it or whatever. But I can just say, honestly, to me, bodybuilding expedites those things, that ending. If that's the ending, that's predestined or whatever it is. I just think that it expedites it. I'm being honest. Like I met George Peterson one time, and it was my first show, my first pro show. I was going to New York Pro, and we were all training at Bev's gym. And I was over the counter and talked to him for literally I don't even remember the conversation. I just remember just how cool and kind he was. And it was just like, oh shit, that's George Peterson. And it was just like nothing. And it was like really cool to just be like, man, the guy's just came up to me, and it was like awesome. It was a really cool interaction. As fast as it was, he's 37 years old and he's younger than me. And then he passes, right before he's about to get on stage, and I believe probably would have won. 212. I think so. And I'm thinking about this, and I'm being honest, as a bodybuilder, am I scared? No, I'm not scared in a sense for me, but it's like, I'm just being honest. I'm being open. I'm letting you guys inside my brain right now. And when this type of stuff happens, because it was just Mountain Dog, and then it was just Luke, and that was something different, but it was another bodybuilder, and it was just Dallas, and it was just Bader, and it was just all these, it's there's another one. We have local shows up here, and we have, different, not awards, but, memorial awards. This class now is for this athlete who passed away, and they're in their 50s, 60s. That's too young for me. I'm sorry. My father has dementia and everything else, and he's 83, so it's like, I look at it, and as a bodybuilder, we sit there and I'm going to just speak for myself. Because when these things happen, it has happened very often. And it's not like I'm not losing anybody in the sense of personally to me and myself. There's some people close to me who I've lost, it's really affected me. Yes, for sure. But there's other people in my life who have passed away from suicide, murder, in the last 5 years, close to me. And this is something, when I'm going through when this happens, because it's getting closer and closer, in a sense where it's like my last show, and people still today, the point of me being very open about my entire prep that just happened was for you to believe that you can do literally the smallest amount of steroids and still be successful. You just got to target the areas you need to, which for me was just making sure I was lean enough and in there. So I'm not here to argue and say, oh, I was doing whatever. I was not trying to argue what I was actually doing, whatever you could think I was doing. I was doing exactly what I was doing, period. And I remember just in my head at the time when I'm in the hospital, I'm sitting there, I'm like, there's no safe way to do this. You know what I mean? And it was it was a moment of clarity. It was, because when things happen before, when other athletes pass, you think to yourself, it's like, man, it's unfortunate that it happens. And you're for me, it's not me, it's, maybe they're doing something different. We kind of play this denial thing, like, what we're doing, is different from what they're doing. So, it's unfortunate to happen to them, but what I'm doing, is probably what I might be doing something safer. I don't know. Like, that's the kind of thing we kind of trying to tell ourselves when it happens. Like, trying to deny the fact that it could be you, it can be you, and not trying to say that all of these deaths have been because of steroids, but like, I mean, what do they all have in common? And we'll just be honest about it. Like, you can't pinpoint a certain thing, we can't, but we got to be honest about this. And I'm just being honest about it. Cause it's like, again, and it's like, but then you have to think about, like, people like, man, like, and you can't really blame the sport in a sense, because, you can, because, there's no rules. So you can put blame on the sport because there's no rules. So you can get to the finish line however you want. No one's telling you how to do it regulated at all. But to really understand, like, this as an athlete, man, like, that's one thing that people don't understand. I'm an athlete to the core. I get it. Like, I get it. I like you understand, like, when I was at the hospital, after I did that video, like, literally, I'm like, I can't post that, whatever. So I just wrote instead, like, and it was like, I was like EKGs, the works. I was not in a good place at all. Like, health, not even close. Like, it was bad. And it was dehydration. It was from throwing up and from diarrhea, from throwing up from a virus. And even in that state, I'm on the phone just trying to text or like relay messages like, can I see if I can get my flight for the next day in case I can get over this? That's where my head is at that point. Like, that's where my fucking head is. And that's what some people don't understand it as an athlete. Like, as a fucking, I'm sorry, like I'm like, this hits home for me because I get it. Because I get it. And like, and for me, like, there's so many things that are going on behind the scenes for me that I'm learning and researching on and being involved with and whatnot. And there's this like, so there's this program that they're putting together for athletes and transitioning from being an athlete to just going to regular life. So like, if you play football your entire life, college athlete, and, all of a sudden you don't make it to the draft, you're done. What's your life after? Of course, hopefully you did with your schooling, whatever, but there's that transition into being a normal person. Same with like actually the pro athlete. So when the athlete goes to being a pro, then their lifespan, say football's like 3 years, and all of a sudden they're done playing football forever. It's just been like, see you later, guys. Hopefully you've made some connections and then you can go in life and be a normal citizen. But most of the time that doesn't happen. So they're putting together a program that is a transitioning program that helps with the mental state and the financial state of athletes first. Sorry, mental and physical first, and then financial after. So it's the main focus is making sure that when the athletes are done playing football, their whatever sport they're doing for their entire life, and their career's done, they have to retire, they target right away the mental and the physical part, because at the end of that, being an athlete, you're left with a mental state that you're in, that you identify as being a certain athlete, being a football, basketball, NHL, NFL, whatever player, and you don't know how to identify yourself after the fact. And then leaving that, you got to go with all the injuries that you're left with, and having to go into life, like go into normal life, right? If your career doesn't last, or even if it does, even if it is successful, when you're done, you still have to retire when you're done. So basically, the program is transitioning people from going from this to this, right? There's nothing like that around for us as bodybuilders. Like, you gotta understand, like, the things that we understand and we know, okay? Put it this way. Are you willing to die for your dreams, for your goals? Are you willing to put your life on the line for your goals? And I don't think that, I think, like, when it comes to athletes, and it comes, like, honestly, when it comes to the psychological part of an athlete, I don't think at the time, I think that kind of is like the peak motivation inside that drives you to be like, I will do whatever it takes to get to my goal. I will do whatever it takes. And it's in every sport. I will run through that line as fast as I can with my head down. I don't care if I break my neck. You'll say it, but you don't really want it, right? I'll do whatever I got to do to get to the, I will do, I'll try as hard as I have to. I'll put the maximum effort, 110%. no stone unturned, all this stuff, and it's in your mind that you will do everything. But then when it comes down to it, it's like, will you really, are you willing to to die for that? And is it worth it? And I have to think to myself, is it worth it? Like, I got something to live for. Like, my daughter has probably, I'm like, anyone who out there who has kids understands that your life, like, as soon as that being popped into this world, you knew exactly what your purpose was. And that was to give them a better life than you ever had. So your every day when you wake up has purpose. Your job is to make sure you can stay alive as long as you can to protect this thing, this little being, and give it everything it can for as long as possible. It's me as a father. And then me thinking about my daughter rubbing my back when I'm throwing up in the bathroom, throwing up diarrhea, throw up diarrhea. And she's sitting there, Daddy, it's okay, Daddy. And she's so like, precious and, ignorant to the fact that like it's something serious going on, but she knows that Dad needs comfort. And then like the next, hours later, she'll be trying to jump on my stomach and like, Mom's gonna say, no, Selena, Daddy's still not feeling, you know what I mean? And I'm sitting there like looking at this like, at the point of that week when I was sick, I was scared for my life for the first time. I say that right now. I'm saying that very honest with you. And I wanted to kind of just literally, I was like, I'm not going to make any decision about competing at all until I am emotionally, and physically away from this situation. So rebound and everything else, and then call it. And then we'll just make a decision. And I was literally yesterday, I was sitting there chatting and I was like, man, I got the itch. I woke up today, I was 245 pounds. It's only 20 pounds in 9 weeks. That's easy. I haven't been doing any cardio, whatever. Probably do it. I was literally thinking about that. And then I'm like, I know what not to do this time. I won't do as much cardio. All I need to do is get down to 220-ish pounds. And I know that I can take a diuretic and I'll lose 10 pounds and make the class. I know that. I know the math now. I figured it out. My trial and error put me in a place where I couldn't fight a virus. My trial and error put my body in such a vulnerable state that a virus crippled me. Literally. And I'm like, months later, I know what not to do. So just, and then it's like, hey man, did you hear what happened? George Peterson. And I'm like, It's just like, this want to continue to be like this, almost like this, like you're addicted to being competitive. You're addicted to competition, to being, and it's not like I don't know if it's like, I don't know if it's unhealthy. Like it's unhealthy if it's something's unhealthy for sure. If it's disrupting your life in a negative way. So I just had an epiphany right there. I tell you, man, like there's a lot of to be a very good bodybuilder. There is a lot. You have some people just and whoever's been through a prep. My athletes have been through preps and stuff, and they were like, "Holy, that's hard." But what's crazy is that it gets harder because you know how much better you can do, so you add more muscle. And you make that harder, so you add more muscle, and you fit yourself in this position that you need to, and every diet and every prep you're getting leaner and leaner and leaner. You're pushing because I lasted this one. I know I could take this. This is my fourth show. I've been through the process again. I can push it this hard. Next time I could probably do another 30 minutes of cardio. I can diet a little harder, and it's more and more and more. And then you're at that top level, and you're like, I can do more. I can hard, and you're like push yourself. So you like. It is not an easy mentally and physically. It's not an easy mental, physical, or spiritual sport at all. It takes some mental, like some strength. and some convincing to yourself that what you're doing, for some reason, for some reason, you're convincing yourself that you need to do everything you're doing to get there. I was the same with football. Whatever I could do more. There weren't steroids, but there was like, what more could I do, training wise? How much more can I do? How much, whatever, what supplements can we get that will help us train over it was the same thing. We'll run more routes. We'll spend more time on footwork. We just dig ourselves. You know what I'm saying? It was like, it just said, this is, but then it's just this fine line when you get to the point where you have so much, like I have way too much to live for right now. So much. I think to myself, I have so much to live for right now. I can't give it away. Like, put it in a, I can't, I can't make the odds greater or smaller. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and honestly, that's why freaking, it's one reason why I have no problem getting vaxxed. I'm a fucking bodybuilder. It might be the most hypocritical thing in the world for me not to get vaxxed, being a bodybuilder. Just do the math. And that's being honest. No one's going to say that. You know what I put in my body before? In the last 10 years? Do it in this sport? None of it's regulated. Maybe a few things. Maybe if you can get with get your hands on some pharmaceutical. Funny, Pfizer GH. There's another crazy thing too. I was doing the math. I'm doing the math. So every athlete every year has to pay $250 American. Right? I'll probably never listen. I'm probably getting myself just disqualified right now saying this, but either way, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna tell like it is. Every year, if you want to compete, you got to pay $250. So I haven't competed this year, and I spent $250 American so I can compete. Okay. If there's 10,000 athletes, make the math real simple, super simple. Okay, 10,000 athletes. If there's 10,000 athletes, then there's definitely more than 10,000 athletes. But to say there's 10,000 athletes, every year pay $250 American. That's $2.5 million a year from athletes American. Has any of that money went towards any of the athletes who've passed funerals at least? Like at least that? I thought about that. And maybe they do, so maybe I'll get a big fucking, maybe a big foot in my mouth. Maybe someone will be like, yo, Shreve, they actually do, man, so dumbass. Well, if they do, great. If they fucking do, great. But we don't get any of that. Not our pro card the money we spend on our pro card gives us nothing but the ability to just compete on stage. That's what it does. It doesn't give us a discount at any, supplement store at least, or, it doesn't give us a discount code. I can't flash. It doesn't give me any kind of, I can't even pass a line. I can't get into a bar I can't get past cover. I don't need it. Right? So it gets me nothing. So 2.5 million at least. Maybe it's max. I don't know. Maybe let's cut it in half. 1 mil. Okay? 1 mil. 1-ish mil. Let's say $1 million comes in a year from every athlete. Not a dime goes towards anyone's funeral who's literally died for trying to get a pro card. Like, you understand, like, how much I put into, like, the climb? Wow. The climb. The journey to get that pro card. To get that IFBB pro card and be just, proud. Like, that is, I did it. I made it. Finally. I'm the best bodybuilder in this country right now. I finally made it. I got a pro card. I got the IFBB pro card. Every single show, I put my body through fucking hell and back. Willingly. For this pro card. And if I die tomorrow, man, how much of any of that is going to go towards my funeral cost? Because that shit's like $20,000. My parents have already kind of given us the whole thing with their funeral, so I kind of have an idea of how much funerals cost. Funeral costs, grave sites, stones and all that stuff. I got an idea. How about we do like this? How about we do like the fighters do? Take that 2.5 mil, maybe a year, maybe it's a mil. I don't know, whatever. That's just from the athletes. That doesn't include the shows that go on, and then the sanction fees that go up to the top, right, to the league or whatever. Anyway, how about every athlete's got to get a screening? You know what I mean? Before the show. Before like, all right, guys, you got 16 weeks to get in shape. Now, boom. Or like as soon as you get your contract back, you got to send them. Before you get a contract, you got to send them back a letter from the doctor that says you are healthy enough to compete. And then at 4 weeks out, you need to get a document that says again you need the next 4 weeks you whatever. So take it with caution. I don't fucking know. Whatever. Let's take something to help, and because we're left to our own demise, guys. Like, you guys are like, well, just take self-control. It's like, listen, could you imagine if the NFL was like, all right, guys, starting next year, 2020, 2022, it's your body, it's freedom. You know what I'm saying? It's your body. Do what you got to do with your body. We can't say anything about, what you put in your body or what we don't. We're not going to regulate that stuff from now on. Do what you need to do. Just make sure you show up to practice and the games. All right, that's it. And then in the end, you're gonna win millions of dollars. Millions. Like to us is not millions. To us it's like maybe let's say the Arnold Classic in the UK, the overall winner was 30,000, and in the Arnold Classic in Ohio was 130,000. So that to us is like a lot of money. So we gotta put ourselves out there. Could you imagine what the NFL would look like? The same. Joking. No, I'm joking. But honestly, you could just take steroids. No one's regulating what you do. Your 40 times are up. The draft classes are just, what I'm saying? Could you imagine if they don't regulate if a boxer is healthy enough to fight? Could you imagine if they didn't regulate? If the UFC, well, I think Dana White was talking about. I was talking to Nick about this. It's not like the Dana was like basically puts in, I don't know how much a year, 50 million, something. I don't know, something enough to make sure that the guys could fight. Like if you're not healthy to fight, you can't fight. I'm not taking a dead body on the platform in the octagon. You're not going to come in and get punched in the face and die. I got to make sure you can at least go through some rounds. You're healthy enough. Every sport, every pro sport, make sure that your ass you get a physical. I remember when I tore my ACL. It was after I was drafted. It was after my draft year. I tore my ACL and I could still play. I never had to like ever get surgery. It still works. It's unreal. It's a miracle. Whatever. Either way, like. I knew that I was never going to pass a physical, even though my knee is completely fine. I'm sorry, but no team is going to. I knew it was doomed. It was after that was it for me. No one's going to pick you up. You're damaged goods. You can't. Sorry, I can't risk you playing on the field and then getting hurt under my watch. And I know that you had a pre-existing injury that's probably going to get injured again. What's the league look like at that point? I don't know, man. I just thought I'd just blabber about that, man. I'm sorry. Like, it sucks. I mean, I'm just, I'm just being honest, man. And my prayers and condolences to George's family. Like I don't like. I couldn't imagine leaving my family right now. So if you're, you got to think hard on this, man. I'm not trying to deter people from bodybuilding, but I'm just saying you just got to really think hard on how you want to pursue. Because we're not all exempt. No one's exempt. Your time will come eventually. It's just you can let it come the way it should, or you can expedite it or whatever. I don't know. Like you just, and then if you're, whatever you're doing in life, if you're not living your fullest, if you're not living life to your fullest right now, you're gonna stand Georgia's like a couple days out from winning, making history. If I can have any light to anything, I'd rather finish on that kind of note than live my life for years regretting never taking a chance on myself. If there's any solace with this, if there's anything you can take like if there's anything, I would rather leave this earth like George than live my entire life and then get to my deathbed and regret never taking a chance on myself. Don't have to be the extreme, but I know there's some things out there that some of you guys are probably just wishing maybe I should just pick up that guitar and just try it again. Maybe, I don't know. You might fail. Maybe you don't ever get a record out, but you tried. Maybe you want to. Maybe you're an aspiring writer, man. No one's gonna ever read my. But try it. Write one. See if they read it. See if someone. You'll never know. But I'd rather leave this earth knowing that I was doing what I loved to the fullest than to finish my life on my deathbed and be like, man, I wish I just did this. I just. There's any solace in that, I could just say that. Be grateful for the breath that you have in your breath right now, in those lungs right now. Take a deep breath and just thank God. And if you've been half living, man, just start full living ASAP. 37. I'm 38. I feel young. That is young. Anyway. All that good stuff. Look at my comments below, whatever in my description you want to grab up, book and all that stuff. But thought I'd just kind of say that, man. Sorry, it's not as uplifting as it should, but if anything, start living. Start living.